Yeah, this is like my fourth podcast I've recorded in like the last week, so I'm all amped up on podcasts. And
Good.
I've had about 6 cups of coffee this morning because we also were reviewing code this morning, and that's not exactly edgy stuff. So here I am with Skip and Sebastian. We're going to talk about like why this week are we rebranding managed services platform to humanize it. And this is important for a lot of you because there's a moment in which your business isn't doing the same thing you started it off with. And so we
Yep.
want to talk a little bit about our journey. I can start off with the original the parent company to all of these tools is called Virtual C. And our original vision was we wanted to be this ocean, and we were the navigators helping people get across the ocean. And so
Yep.
that's where our symbol of the sextant comes from. And some of this is new information to Sebastian, who just came on last week. But some of it's old information to Skip, who just threw the old logo up on his screen.
Yep. Yep.
And
It's in the way. I gotta. There we
the idea
go.
was is we wanted to help small businesses navigate this complex business strategy ocean via technology. Getting your ship together, getting it going in the right direction, making sure you're going to land at the right port at the end of the day. And so we originally started with a VCIO practice, and then we ran across a great company called Reframe Your Clients.
Mm-hmm.
And some
That's
of you
going back a
recognize
ways.
that name.
Yeah.
And Reframe Your Clients is all about changing the mindset of your clients and changing how you're approaching them. And it had this great tool that helped you look amazing while delivering a great product to your clients. But it's a little too rigid for me. So I decided to use the product, and I got introduced to Danish while I was at it. And he had the right idea, but I want to do it my own way. So I built my own methodology, my own
Yep.
framework
You did it.
within.
You did it your way. Do we need
I did it
to play the
my way.
music there?
I
Yep.
don't have that music built into my Roadcaster.
We need to
Oh,
get
that
that
would have
one.
been a good one.
I'll have to put that one in there.
Mhm.
So I took everything I had learned over the past 20 years in corporate IT management and strategy and engineering, and I threw it into what I thought small businesses needed to know. And I was very successful at it. And so I reframed my clients. Then Danish decided to change the name of Reframe Your Clients to Managed Services Platform, where he was going to aggregate a bunch of solutions in one portal that would allow managed services providers to just discover and find things in the marketplace. And we kept providing solutions and started doing coaching because we were doing things so well. And Skip and I came up with an idea where, like, why don't we make this simple for everybody? It seems like the stumbling block is it's too complicated.
Yep.
And so we came up with something called, what was it called? The VCIO Excellence Program.
Yes,
Skip?
yes. Oh, I think Danish had a hand in that because
It was Danish and I on a call, and like, we need to call this something, and we just made it up off the cuff.
I think it's funny because we wanted to create something simple, and so we had what I, in retrospect, think was a complicated name for something simple.
It was the Hunglish,
That's it, the Hunglish. Yes, I like that though. I like
Danish was Hungarian, and so, or from Hungary, and so we call it Hunglish whenever he comes up with a name.
Yep, that's great.
What we want to do is, we wanted to create a stable coaching program to teach people how to be VCIOs like we were. And eventually that got to be a little too much. So I go, hey, let's get a marketing team. So I got a marketing team to actually chew on this. And they came up with the idea of the Humanize framework, Humanize IT, Humanize it. And that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so easy. I can say HIT. I can say Humanize it. So if you look at our logo, it's an I and an H, Humanize IT. And it's very clever. And I'm like, that is nice. And it resonated really well. And Skip thought so too. Like, we can actually say this.
Well,
I started going to conferences and started using the name Humanize.
But that marketing conversation, I was on the tail end of some of those and heard a little bit, and that was the message that you were conveying, that we really want to take a personal approach. I think we're using, relationship and one-on-one and all these other activities. And somewhere along the way, you said something about, making it like talking to another human rather than dealing with a report or something. And it really, birthed out of this idea that we want to have genuine conversations with our clients.
Yeah, and this is just what we started going with, and it became this journey we were on. And I even went so far as to go out and patent the name, humanize it. Yeah, this CV. Well, there's a patent number on there. I've got my little like sign over here. It says this is our name because it's our style. So we started building a framework of the four pillars around it, so we could break up managed services providers into different areas, so they could talk about one area at a time rather than overwhelming and talking about everything at once.
Mhm.
And we came up with quarterly projects, and we came up with this really great way of smoothly talking, but we were still called managed services platform owned by virtual C, running the humanize it framework.
Yes, something
And
so
Sebastian
simple and
comes
we
on, starts
complicated it.
getting a nosebleed as a sales guy, going, okay, how
It's
am I
like,
going to sell this?
which
Nope,
company am I talking about?
that's it
Yeah,
exactly. That's it exactly.
are you talking about, yeah. And so we have been, over the past year, been moving to the humanize it brand. So if you haven't seen, like, our Facebook page and our LinkedIn pages have already switched, and no one
Mhm.
noticed. and but I've been at conferences using the humanize it term. We're like, oh my gosh, it's so much easier. Please just make that your primary brand.
Yes. Yep. Well,
And so
you
managed
you
services
can't
platform will
abbreviate
always
managed
be the
services
name of the
platform.
tool, but
Mhm.
it'll always be the name of the tool. But
Yeah.
we're bigger than that now. We're more. We're a consulting practice that happens to have a tool.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure everybody knows that. And that's kind of where we said, hey, let's just make a cut date of August 15th. Everything will start moving forward on that,
Yeah.
which is a lot of work because we also have the pitch it competition coming up. And I've got to make sure our messaging is really clear for the pitch it competition. Even if we don't make the final three, I still need to have a clear messaging for Sebastian to give out there, so people can say, "Look how easy it is."
Yep.
You can go with one of the other products; they'll take you, 6 months to 3 years to implement, or you can go with ours; they'll start making you money tomorrow
Yep.
or today if you're really aggressive.
So, by the way, welcome, Sebastian. Sebastian is a new member to our team, so we're glad to get him on board here. And so the cool thing about Sebastian is, in kind of what we're doing when we're talking with him, he gets it, what we're trying to do, and that's what I really love about the Humanize IT framework. Is it's just that it's a framework. All right, so coming on board, he doesn't know our reports. He doesn't know what we're pulling out of ConnectWise, and that doesn't really matter. What are you trying to do? You're trying to have good conversations with your clients. We want to get those presentations that we've been putting together in PowerPoint and spreadsheet. Those need to be off the table. Those need to be in the back. Those are resources. They're not tools for your client conversations. And so that's really, I think, the fundamental element of what we want to convey with Humanize IT is it is a framework. And it's not a rigid process. We do know that MSPs out there are so different. I mean, you're operating under a very, very similar business model, but you get into each one and there's always a different flavor. So the idea that we could come up with some sort of detailed process, hey, just do these X number of things, and everything will work out great, is really a farce. And so with a framework, though, you can be adaptive. You can do it your way, just like Adam did. And I really am excited about us getting over this hurdle. The rebranding is probably going to be a bit of a challenge to get everybody to understand where we're coming from. But the core element of this is the Humanize IT framework provides you with so many opportunities. Yes, we have a great tool, but the tool is not the only component of that. I mean, there are a lot of things that come up in how we implement the tool that really fill in the gaps to make that framework valid and actionable for day-to-day activities within an organization.
Yeah, and that is the power behind us. Is we've always been this top-down approach to IT. Even in the Reframe Your Clients and Managed Services platform days, it was still a top-down approach. We were never wanting to get into your operations of how to
Absolutely.
manage ticket flow, how to increase your OML level. That was always, there's plenty of companies out there that can do that.
Yeah, great
And there's
companies.
plenty of ways to do that. And those bases are covered. Take your pick. We will work with them. We don't care. What we care about is how are you treating your clients? and are you treating them well?
Yep.
And so with when we were interviewing Sebastian, that's one of the things that stuck out, Sebastian. I don't know if we told you. It's like you came up with a 90-day plan. You sent that
Yeah.
to us right after the interview. It wasn't a
Mhm.
thank you letter. It was a here's how I'm going to make you successful. It
Right.
wasn't you
Yes.
screening or
Yes.
anything. You still made us the priority.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in the meeting, you made us the priority when you talked about our company. We didn't have to teach you about our company. You had already done the research.
Right.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, man, this guy gets it. He gets what we're
Yep.
doing. You know, he may be from that weird state of California, but still, he will.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say, when I did meet you guys, I was very excited about what you guys were putting out. So, little background on me, I don't come from the MSP world, but going on your website, speaking to both of you, it was very apparent that what you guys wanted to do was actually help businesses and actually speak to them and really understand what are they doing, what are your goals, and let's help you get to those goals.
Yeah.
And that for me was really exciting to come on and be a part of a company. So after our interview, I was like, look, I need to set myself apart. I don't know the MSP world. You might be interviewing people that do know more about it than I do, but let me show you how I can help and what I can bring to the table. So I'm glad the 90, the 30, 60, 90-day plan actually resonated with you guys.
And that Sebastian, you hit it right where it needs to be. You know, as an MSP, you may not understand all the details of a manufacturing firm or a healthcare provider or a financial institution. But when you get in there and say, look, I know I have these skills, all right, and this is how I can apply these skills to meet your goals. All right. So, we're looking for account management. We're looking for sales activities. So that's why we're talking to you. And you can say, this is how I can help you meet your goals with the skills that you have. All right. And that was one of the things, your experience with the, fractional outsourced
Mhm.
sort of industry matched up 1-to-1 with the MSP industry. And that's what our messaging is we have, as an MSP, you have great technical skills. You can do all these things, but your client, at the end of the day, they're not really hiring an MSP for technical skills. All right. If you think about this a little academically, maybe they're not hiring technical people. They're hiring people that's going to help them make their business successful. At least they should be. All right. So if they're just hiring someone who can close tickets, well, there's an infinite number of monkeys, banging away on typewriters somewhere, right? Let's go down that road. But if we really want to be successful, let's bring people into our partnership, into our strategic environment. They're going to focus on our goals, and we'll trust them to do the things that they need to do within their scope. But they're really going to focus on our goals, and that's what Humanize IT does.
Yeah, it's just the conversations, and it's industry agnostic. But
Yes.
for some reason, in the technical industry, we just don't seem to think it's important. And
Yep.
it's like, come on, people. If you do the simple humanizing of your client relationship, treat
Mhm.
them like an actual person, and then you will actually start selling projects because they'll trust you. And so humanize the conversations, humanize your approach, humanize your selling points, humanize how you're doing things because you're great at technology. No one is questioning that you know how to fix things. I've never been in MSP or worked at a business and them being like, "Oh, the MSP, I don't know if they really know how to fix computers." No one says that. They
Yeah.
might say they're kind of jerks
Yep.
or they're really slow. And
Slow.
they'll say
Yep.
those things on operational efficiency, but what they really want to know is what makes the difference between a $2,000 a month client and a $10,000 a month client. A lot of times, it's just the relationship, the level of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of people are out there going, "Oh, that's a bunch of crap." They just can't afford
Mm-hmm.
$10,000 a month. No, that's not true. They're paying their employees eight to
Yeah.
$10,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and you're 10 to 20 employees at your MSP. Why can't they afford you? Because they don't think that you're worth the $10,000 a month.
Yep.
You've got
Well,
to show them another way. You have to show them that if you pay us $10,000 a month, here is what's going to happen to your business. and you tell them that narration, and you can't tell them that narration without learning about who they are.
Yeah.
So being able to say they are a trucking company, and you notice that they have zero inventory management, they have zero warehouse management, they have zero fleet management. You know for a fact that you're a boutique MSP that really cares about trucking companies, and you can help them with fleet management. So now they can track their shipments across the United States in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've grown their company. You've allowed them to be more efficient. You
Well,
can
that
now look at your inventory and say, hey, you need stuff by warehouse A and then warehouse C to pick up your stuff. And you help them become more efficient. They didn't know this stuff was possible because they don't know technology. They know business.
that's it.
And so when you learn their problems and you marry them up with technology solutions, suddenly you have a relationship that's worth $20,000, $30,000 a month.
Well, on the cost deal, and we've had lots of discussions on this, so I won't go deep. But as a business owner, all right, if you're running a business, obviously you're looking to manage your costs, right? But if you have the opportunity to spend money on something with at least some level of understanding that if I spend this money, it's going to help me make money. All right. And once you get into that cycle, as your revenues grow, you're willing to spend more. And, as long as there's some correlation to that, you will continue to spend over and over, or perhaps even more and more, because you see the value it is to your organization. Our standard example is electricity right now. All right. I'm in Texas. It's hot. I'm running air conditioners, all day long. Right. So my bills are going through the roof, and electricity is relatively cheap in Texas. And I'm looking to cut costs, right? My bill came due just this morning. I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh man, is there a way for me to get cheaper electricity? All right. Now I'm not willing to spend more on electricity, because if I spend more, it's not going to make my house any cooler, right? It's a flat cost, and that is the frame, or I guess the place that a lot of MSPs get stuck in, and you've got to get out on that. If I spent more on electricity, but it could turn my house into a walk-in cooler just because I paid a little bit more for electricity. Well, I know my wife would sign up for that. All right, I'm battling her on the thermostat all the time anyway. So
Yeah.
there would be a value back to me other than just an expense, and that's the relationship we have to be in.
Yeah, and I just did a quick little Google here. The average computer technician salary in the United States looks like it's about $55,000. So you're looking about $4,500 a month for a
Yeah.
computer technician. This is your average PC fix it person that your client would hire if they didn't have you. Now, how many of your contracts are under $4,500? Now, that's not
Ooh.
counting benefits, vacation time, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
How many of your contracts are under $4,500 a month? They can't. To replace you, they would have to hire a full time employee or find another MSP. And
Mhm.
that's that relationship there. And an employee is a relationship, which means that inside their company, on average, I believe that the median income for the United States is like $52,000 a year. And so, on average, the person that they're hiring full time 40 hours a week is making more than your high talent group of people
Mhm.
in your industry. Now you're working fractionally. There's a bunch of other things in there, but think about that. Your client can afford more. They just don't believe you're worth more.
Ooh,
They
that's
don't
tough.
believe that you're going to help their company do more. And that's where you need to humanize that relationship and let them see who you are. And then you need to humanize them and see them as an actual client that's trying to make money. Stop
Mhm.
seeing them as a payroll and start seeing them as a dog kennel, trucking company, a mom and pop that's trying to do X, Y, or Z. Maybe they're selling tacos. I don't know. But you need to get and understand their mindset, what they're worried about, who they are, what do they like to do in their spare time? What's their goal for their company? Where do they want to be? Do they want to sell,
Yeah.
or do they want
Yeah.
to be the best tacos in town? And
Yeah.
when you know that and you help them on that journey, suddenly you become worth more than an employee. You're a partner.
What
And that's the value of humanizing a relationship. We've seen this over and over again. We have testimonial after testimonial of people who will say, holy crap, once I started doing this, I started getting a lot more revenue. And it's simply because you had the talent. Now they believe that you're going to take them on a journey.
Yep.
And that's what Humanize It is all about.
You said something really important there, Adam. The goal for their company. What do they want to do? Do they want to sell? Do they want to be the best tacos in town? Whatever that is. If you, as an MSP, if you look at your clients right now, can you go down the list and could you say this company wants to sell? This company, do you know those? I mean, are you working with a taco? Maybe this one's got a fleet of taco trucks. All right. What is their goal? Do they want to be the best tacos there is? Do they want to become a nationwide brand? Do they really want? Now, if you were an actual employee for that organization, you would probably know this goal. All right. That would be some part of the employee team conversation. And today MSPs are outside of that, and we need to get inside those conversations. And it's not really that hard. And that's again one of the things that the real values that I think we bring is you don't have to become an expert in taco trucks. Okay, that's not out there. Right? There are some really
Client is
simple.
an
Your
expert
client is the expert, and there's some really simple things that you can do that allow you to get the inside, perspective and the inside relationship, and then you bring all of your expertise, being technical, and you empower that vision. And
Yes.
it really is I think a next step. I think this is where the successful MSPs go. And to be honest, sometimes we talk. I feel like we talk bad about MSPs, like you guys are a bunch of knuckle draggers. All right, and that's not the case. All right, we don't want to set that
Because
expectation
you're
at all.
too smart.
Yeah, yes. Sometimes maybe that's it. If you look through your book of clients, there probably are a handful that you do know these type of things. You are having these type of conversations, but there's no structure to it. It's completely ad hoc. It's because you knew this person from 20 years ago and you've been talking to them, throughout their entire journey. And so you've picked this up along the way. But with Humanize IT, we're saying you can scale this. You can
Mm-hmm.
replicate this sort of process and framework across all of your clients without having to spend 20 years of kids' birthdays and graduations and whatever to slowly accumulate this sort of relationship and context that you need for your clients.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing is that you are, and Skip says this all the time in meetings, is your client is the expert.
Yes.
You're augmenting them. You're allowing your client to be the hero in their own world. And when you do that, you're humanizing that relationship. They love having you around. You become more than an employee. You become more than a vendor. You're not just a cost savings area. You're the thing that's going to help them go to the next level. You're the one's going to help them earn more money. And we at Humanize do the same thing. We have a framework where we're teaching these conversations via our weekly community updates, via our podcast, our YouTube channel, our workshops, our monthly webinars are all built around just building MSPs and helping them have these better conversations. Operational efficiency can go to other people. We are here to help your account managers become VCIOs overnight
Yep.
because all they have to do is change the narrative. And that's the Humanize methodology. That is our framework that we are trying to fit people in. You don't have to change anything other than your conversations. Keep doing everything you're doing on your technical side, do it well. Keep
Yes.
your operational efficiency going. Change your conversations. Use the tool that we have to distill all the things that you do, all the awesome things that you are, and
Mm-hmm.
then have a simple conversation with your client that will result in revenue, increased revenue month over month, year over year. And that's the humanized way. That's why we're moving to the humanized being the primary brand, because our goal is to teach you how to have better conversations. Skip is here for it. Sebastian's here for it. I'm here for it all the time. We have a team of developers behind us making things work really smoothly in the back end. We've got a whole marketing team making sure it looks good and building collateral for you. Always reach out. Tell us how we can help you have better conversations, and we will be there. Thanks for listening on this podcast on how we're rebranding. And it's important for you guys to think with this too. Is your brand secure? Is your brand
There you
selling
go.
your clients what you are today? I think you should all challenge yourselves to think of that. Are you ready for a rebrand? Should you do something similar? Thank you, everyone. We'll
Yeah.
see you
Thank
all
you.